Hey everybody, hello. Welcome to the Good Feeling Life. My name is Talia, and today I am live off my deck as the sun is going down. So it's a beautiful space right now. I feel very inspired to bring you this message. Um, I'm a big thinker. Anybody that knows me, anybody that's worked with me, um, nothing is at face value with me. There's always lessons to be learned. There's always a new way we could look at things. We could always sort of, it's basically learn. We can always learn from things. So I'm always thinking, what can I bring you that will change your life in an instant? Because I know that when you work with me, when you watch these videos, if you're part of the membership, I know that you're never the same after. I know that what I have to bring you is so powerful that it will change your life. And it's because it's changed mine. I've been the first person to go through it for myself. And then now I can bring it to you guys. So when thinking about what is the thing that you need to know, right? It always comes back to this message that I'm going to share with you today, which is the underlying theme in the membership, the underlying theme of everything that I do. And, I can focus on anything. We can focus on how to bring abundance into your life. We can focus on how to get healthier. We can focus on bringing in loving, functional, healthy relationships. We can focus on building a business. And I know that we can get massive results with you, not just with one-on-one, but membership, whatever, if you take in this part. So this is what I'm going to bring to you today. And it's simply that we need to reconsider what we think we know about this human experience. And myself included, I can't ever claim to have all the answers, to know that I actually know what's happening here. But what I know is through learning, through books, through mentors, through teachers, and then through my own experience, I have seen what has made the biggest differences in my life. I hope the background noise isn't too loud for you. I apologize if it is. I'm the one who has changed my own eating disorder. I am the one that got out of using drugs, alcohol, all of that. I am the one that changed depression and anxiety into joy. I am the one that changed no money into being abundant and being able to support my family. I am the one that has done that. And how I have done that, how I have come to this place, how it has been able to happen, is through this simple process, is that your thoughts create your reality. And right away you may go like, okay, that sounds overwhelming, or yeah, I know, but how do I do this? Or you may be thinking thoughts of like, ugh, I have to change all my thoughts. Well, that's impossible. Can't there be a different way? We're always looking for something easier, when in turn it's not actually easier. We're looking for the quick fix, but we just go around in circles our whole lives looking for the thing that's going to save us, instead of doing the hard work to actually change the way that you think about yourself, change the way that you think about your life. So this is really big, and I'm really excited for how this is going to come to you today, and I really hope that this resonates with you. So if you think, we have this mind, we have this brain, and science has been so wonderful as to try to figure out what all these different parts do and why we have this, but there's so much that we haven't figured out yet. There's so many parts of our brain that like they say, I forget what the actual percentage is, but that we use something like 11 or 12%, if somebody knows, let me know, of our brain, and that's all. And they say if we could use our whole brain, like, it'd be crazy what we could do. And then there's all these people that pop up that have psychic ability, or we talk about telekinesis, or we talk about seeing spirits or whatever. So there's all this stuff that's happened throughout history. We've always been talking about this stuff, so we know there's more. And the reason why I'm saying this to you today is I think to just think that your thoughts are not that powerful is doing yourself a massive disservice, and probably what's keeping you stuck, whether you're stuck in something huge, or it's just little things, or there's just lack of clarity, or you're looking for more joy or more happiness or relationships or money or whatever. The thing that's keeping you from not doing that is practicing and focusing on this, is that your thoughts create your reality, and you decide how it goes. The reason I said all that about the brain is that we just need to know that we don't actually know. So just try this on, entertain it. Try it for yourself and see the dramatic change that happens in your life. And again, I can only preach this because I know firsthand, deliberately creating things, exact amounts of money, exact opportunities that I know I didn't do on my own. This is the part that gets mysterious, that I just don't know how it happens. And this is, where we all talk about the universe, talk about this energy, we talk about this God, is because we don't know. And I am always open and always a seeker, and always, I feel like the day I think like I know and I'm right, that's the telltale that you don't actually know. So I just want you to consider that your mind is the thing that creates it all. Hey, Matt, long time no see. We all know what it's like to go from having an awesome day to having a crappy day. Or we know what it's like when something can shift us just like this. Something happens in our brain. Maybe we perceive something, like we see our loved one out with someone else or flirting with someone else, and like in an instant we go from having a rad awesome day to being angry or livid or whatever. Or we get an unexpected bill in the mail, or we get news somebody's passed away or something like that. Our mind shifts our entire being. That news created something in our mind. So if it's an unexpected bill, all of a sudden we're going, holy crap, how can I pay for this? And it's this downward spiral. We start going, how am I going to pay for, my car payments and my this and my that? And, we go from feeling awesome to crappy in a split second. And that's all in our mind. If you got a call that was like, hey, Mr. Johnson, your wallet's been turned up and all the money's been taken, and you're not Mr. Johnson, you go, oh, okay, cool. That's actually wrong number. Thanks. Bye. And nothing even happened in your mind. So it's only because you perceive this news or you perceive this thing as being bad or being good, and it switches, and you go from having a rad time to a not so rad time. And that just happened in your mind. If you're having a down day and you cry it out, you talk it out, or you're just around somebody, that guy's having a rad day. You're just around somebody who's inspiring, who lifts you out of your funk. You can all of a sudden go like, oh, I was having a really crappy time, and now all of a sudden I'm feeling better. And that just happened in your mind. So the reason I'm saying all this is just to don't underestimate the power of your mind, because when you actually start to get how powerful it is, it starts to get really fun. When you actually realize, and I resist saying this because sometimes it sounds absolutely crazy. It sounds like, how can she know this? But I know it from living it, I know it from learning it, and I know it from changing my own life. When you decide something is so, your energy changes, your mood changes, the way you see the world changes. And if you want to just think, if you're feeling great about yourself, if you're feeling like your body feels good, your mind feels good, really good things are happening, you make different choices in your life. And this is what it all boils down to. You make different choices in your life when you're feeling good. I don't know if you've ever been self-conscious about your body. Either you want to gain weight or lose weight or build muscle or whatever it is. When you feel like you're doing that, you walk around like, yeah, even if you've had a good workout, it's like, all right. Or, you're looking at your arms going, all right. And you all of a sudden think you're awesome. But then the next day you can turn around and go, oh, what was I kidding? Like, I'm not even close. I'm nowhere yet. And when you're feeling good and you're walking down the street like, yeah, everything's awesome, you're making different choices. You're probably not going to need to cope as much. You're not going to reach for maybe the unhealthy food as much. You might just become more mindful in your everyday life because you actually start caring. You actually start feeling good and wanting to maintain that feeling of feeling good. Whereas when you feel bad, if you get that news, or just you look in the mirror today and you just think you look awful, where yesterday you thought you were fine, it can all of a sudden you're making different choices. Again, you might reach to the booze to cope, or you might reach to the food to comfort. So we can acknowledge, we can say that we make different choices when we feel good, which is the whole thing of the membership that I have, and why this is called The Good Feeling Life, is because when you find the hacks and the ways to feel good in your life, and it doesn't mean that everything's rosy, but you definitely, it's like if your resting mood is here, when you feel good, your resting mood's up here. So everything is like even more awesome. When you find that way to feel good, no matter what you're doing, no matter who you're around, no matter if you're in a relationship or not in a relationship or what's happening, when you find that good feeling self, your life changes because you start making different decisions. So I could, go off on this forever. This is what I help you with. This is, the base of everything that I do. But what I really wanted to say today is Your thoughts create your reality. And it's not half of it is freaking mysterious. It's magical. It's like, I don't know what that is, but that's what we talk about, this energy, this universe, all that. But the other half is very, very practical. When you feel good, you make different choices. When you feel good, you radiate out love. I did a live 2 days ago called Stories, and talking about the stories that we tell ourselves. And one example I used is that if you have a story that like all men are jerks, everywhere you go, you're going to see that story played out. And then think if you're seeking a relationship and you're sitting here going like, I'm never going to find the right man. They're all jerks. I go on date after date. They're all jerks. They're all jerks. If you're going on a date with a good man, he's going to pick up on your all men are jerks vibe thing that you have going on, because he's going to feel it, and that's going to repel him. So it's not until you change the story of like, okay, maybe my experience has been that guys are jerks. Maybe I saw that in my father or past relationships or whatever. I'm willing to acknowledge, though, that there are good men out there. I'm willing to acknowledge that probably there's a good chance that there are some nice guys out there, and that maybe if the fates align, I will be able to meet one of those. Even that changes your energy. So we need to start taking responsibility for our thoughts. And this is a very delicate thing for me to talk about, because when somebody's in serious pain, or they've had, abuse, or they're stuck in addiction, or just severe loneliness, depression, anxiety, I don't want to sound like I'm saying, just think different and it'll all pan out. I mean, it's true, but we got to work ourselves into that. We have to work ourselves into the belief of that and into a new way of doing life. So the biggest thing that I do is I try to just lessen what's happening. So, a couple months ago, my husband by accident ran into the garage door with his truck. Just a total fluke. He's like a great driver, but he just backed up into the garage door. Total fluke thing that happened. And obviously a new garage door is thousands of dollars. So I hear this huge crunch, go outside. And instead of freaking out, instead of thinking, oh my goodness, this is going to cost us so much money, like, we're trying to save for this or whatever it is, I just went, okay, this happened. And I will find a way. And so through it all, it stopped me from like trying to, blame him or him feeling bad, because obviously he feels awful anyways. And it was just, it will pan out. We will work out. It will work itself out. And through a long story, but someone recommended someone else who like went to this home show and found a guy that we got to support, a local guy. It was a great price. It all panned out. But we tend to see things and immediately freak out. We tell this story. We go in our mind like, oh, we're screwed. And of course, as soon as I get a little bit ahead and here comes a bill and, maybe he shouldn't have done this, whatever our stories are that are going to creep in. That's when they get into our thoughts, and then they affect the way that we act out in the world. If that's how I acted, I'd be walking around going like, oh, I'm never going to be able to pay rent, or how is this going to happen, or whatever it is. So, but when I knew that I need to stay calm, I knew that I needed to stay collected, and knew that like this just happened. And I believe firmly that everything happens through me. So either I attracted that somehow, or there's something to learn in there. Like right away, my husband, I said to him, why do you think this happened? What was it to learn? And he said, I was rushing. I was just rushing. And it's a nudge to slow down. And it was like, awesome. So sometimes it costs us a lot, thousands of dollars, to learn to like slow down, be more mindful. But when we can start to realize that not everything that's happening is awful, or not everything is fixed, because if you think all men are dogs, you're just going to continue to see it. If you think that, oh, every time I get ahead, then a big bill comes in the mail or something happens, you're gonna play it out. This universe and your mind is so smart that it won't make you out to be a liar. So take that in. You won't be made out to be a liar in your beliefs. So if you think that you're fat, if you think that you're dumb, if you think that you're unlovable or unworthy or really messed up, really alone, if there's anything like that, anything at all that you think that I am this. No, I am fucked up. I used to argue for me being fucked up. I'd be like, no, you don't get it. I'm screwed up. It's like I was fighting for that. And it kept me screwed up. So what I really want to encourage you to do today is just try on and just like stand in, witness, just kind of be with the thought of like, maybe it's those reoccurring thoughts. It's those reoccurring stories, those reoccurring like, I am this. All guys are this. Every time this happens, I am bad with money, or good things never happen to people like me. Just entertain that might actually be causing it. It's kind of like chicken or the egg, right? We go, well, no, you don't understand. Like, all this stuff does happen to me, though. I'm just reacting to it. And what I want to do is I want to encourage you to be super brave, go out on such a limb of faith, and just think, maybe I'm a really powerful creator. And what is going on in my head, those stories I'm telling myself over and over and over, maybe that is what's creating it. Because in my life, I had to change my story. It got to a point where my life was in a rock bottom. And I just decided, and this is all of this. Oh, actually, my notes that I haven't even looked at is all about deciding, because it comes down to that. You decide. I decide the way my business goes, the way my relationship goes, the way my life goes. I decide. And you decide if you're smart enough. You decide if you're awesome enough. You decide if you're going to be someone who stands tall. You decide if you're going to be someone who looks at the victim-y side of things, or decides to, have this hard story, because we all have hard stories in a lot of ways. But how are you going to use that story to benefit you, to benefit others? So many people survive such horrific things or have really crazy lives, and they turn it around to help kids, or help drunk driving awareness, or to serve somebody else, to help in some way, to take their pain and transform it into something powerful. And that's what you can do too. So if you get one thing from this video, I want you to know, and as you get to know me more, as you watch my stuff, if you join the membership, I'm going to share very, very specific ways that I created very specific amounts of money, or very specific opportunities. I'm going to be sharing all this stuff because it's so important. But it all comes down to, I decide. Like, I even decide that being healthy is easy. I tell myself every day, being healthy is easy. And it's not that I was given this spoon. If anybody, like Matt, if you're still watching, you've known me a long time. I haven't always been healthy. It's not like I was always healthy and I just knew it. I made the choice to go, you know what, being healthy is actually easy. There's healthy options. I'm going to choose things. And if I didn't choose something healthy, I would go, you know what, I made a choice. I wanted the dessert, or I wanted whatever it was, and I'm going to move on, because I'm just going to decide that this is easy. I'm just going to decide. So if you get one thing from this before I wrap up, is that your thoughts do create, hey Haley, what's up? Your thoughts create your life. So instead of thinking this stuff is going on the outside, and I'm just saying that, like, oh, it sucks, or saying that I'm no good with money, or that things like this don't happen to me, or that all guys are dogs, or that I'm not lovable, or whatever, instead of saying that, like, no, I'm really not lovable, I'm just telling you that because that's what I see, everybody rejects me and all that. Start with the story of, you know what, damn it, I'm sure there's someone out there for me. There's someone out there for me that's my kind of crazy, that's my kind of awesome. That person must exist. And whatever you can do to work yourself into that belief incrementally. So it might start with, I spent a lot of time thinking that I'm not good enough, and I'm willing to change it. Might start with that. Just start by saying, I'm willing to change this thought. I'm willing to change this thought. And when it creeps up, I'm willing to change this thought. Even if you're walking with a friend and, some guy checks out your friend and not you, instead of playing the story again about, like, oh, of course, because I'm not lovable, just go, well, maybe she was his type. It's no big deal. I'm going to change this thought pattern. I'm going to change this. And it takes bravery. It's not simple, but struggling, staying stuck, and being committed to these stories of not being good enough will lead to a way worse place. So it's way worth it to put in the effort to be aware of your thoughts, to be conscious of what you're creating. And like I said at the very, very beginning, is entertain the thought that we might not know fully how this life experience works. And like I mentioned, there's people that are mediums and talk to spirits and all this stuff, and believe it if you want, don't believe it if you don't want. This stuff has been around a long, long time, and all that means, whether you believe it or not, or go to someone or not, doesn't even matter. All that it means is there just might be more than what we know. There might be something working through our brains, through our thoughts, intuition. That's something I'm so powerful. Yes, I am so passionate about, is talking about intuition. Like, where does that shit come from? Where does that knowledge and that guidance come from that takes you to a different place in life? Where does that come from? How can that inspiration come when it wasn't from my conscious brain? Like, what is that? Just to be curious, just to go, there's probably more that I don't know, and give the attention to the fact that your thoughts create your reality. And if you're telling some stories that reoccur about you not being good enough, switch that shit up. It is not worth it. It will never get you there. It does not work. It doesn't work like being hard on myself will kick myself in the ass enough to finally get into action. That's what we say, right? If I'm hard on myself, it'll be the motivation I need. It'll be that brutal, motivation. And it never works. It just makes you feel really, really crappy, which leads to you feeling like you need to cope. And then we all cope with different things. It can be drugs, alcohol, sex. It can be just like depression, anxiety, whatever it is, OCD, whatever it is that we have going on. And not to say that all those things are just starting in your thoughts. I mean, I would entertain that, but I don't want to discredit the pain you feel, the things you go through. Those are very real. And what I'm offering is a powerful solution to start thinking, you know what, maybe I'm not that. Maybe this stuff starts in my mind and I decide. And once you're ready for more, I'm going to tell you that it's true. I'm going to tell you that you decide. Like I said to you, I decide that being healthy is easy. I decide that in my business, because I sell things online, I sell things through another clinic, I have things that, I'll get notifications that this sold for $40 or whatever. I decide that when I do something for myself that lights me up, that's in the name of self-care. So whether it's camping with a best friend or getting a pedicure or treating myself to something. I just bought myself a new computer because mine's crapping out. And for me, that's like, I need this. It's something I put off. I don't want to spend the money. But finally, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I decide that when I do that stuff, I make money. And since I've made that decision, every time I treat myself with self-care, I do something for myself that lights me up. I call it a soul's desire. We'll get into that if you work with me or you come in the membership. But when I listen to a soul's desire, when I say yes, I make money. People come my direction and it works. It works. I'll go camping and I come back and these notifications. It'll say $48, $44, $106. Like, it's so crazy. So just entertain the fact that maybe you decide what and how your life is going to go. And don't let that be something that's so big you don't take action. Just start with the small things. Just say, if that was true, and if I could wave a magic wand, and if God himself, herself, whatever it is, was in front of you saying, yes, if it was standing in front of you saying, yes, your thoughts create everything. You are a powerful creator. You are the center of your life. You have created it all. In some way or another, you've said yes to everything in front of you, whether you like it or not. You've given it your attention. You've given it your focus. You've called it in. Yes, it's true. What would you turn around and do? What would you turn around and do if you knew that your thoughts, like, would you not just start going, holy crap, okay, I'm rich, I have a super sexy partner that I love, I have, healthy children, I live in a beautiful house, I travel the world, I am not afraid to be on stage, I have a beautiful singing voice. Like, what would you do if you knew your thoughts actually created everything? That's what I want you to try on. Start working towards that. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping you, is that it's a process. We need that help. And that's that membership too that I'm talking about, is that we need this constant support. It's like this gentle love to move us in the direction that we actually believe it. Because once you believe it, then you're bringing in and calling in specific amounts of money, specific people, specific opportunities, healing relationships. I know it sounds huge, and I'm not someone that claims big things without being able to back it up. So I know that this is true, and I want to get you to that place where you are such a powerful creator that you believe all this stuff. So Haley's asking, what do I sell? Well, on my website, I have a 7-day course that's called Accessing Your Inner Guide. It's about finding your intuition. And I have, I wonder what else is on my course. I have my 5-week New Leaf program, but then I also have a nutrition cancer package I sell through a naturopathic office. It's nutrition for healing cancer. And what else do I sell? Oh, I have a mind, body, soul care package that's a whole bunch of things in one, meditations and guides and things like that. I think that's all that's on my website right now besides my membership. So my membership is $28 a month, and you can sign up anytime and get into the group. And this month, August, we're having our call in a couple days, and it's all about intuition, which I'm so excited. Yes. Yeah, totally. Haley, yeah. The one you got free because you're a member. plug. If you're a member, you get that course for free. So anyways, that's what I want to bring to you today. You are a powerful creator. And instead of putting your effort into trying to fix, or wonder why things are going wrong, or seek more therapy or more this or more that, and I'm not telling you to stop that stuff. I'm not telling you if it calls to you, do it. Oh, the ocean got like blurred out. See the ocean back there? I can't really see it. It's okay. Instead of putting that energy into that, really entertain putting your energy into your thoughts and going, okay, Talia said, I get to decide the way my life goes. And I use this with like my back pain. And I've talked about this to you guys. I've been in back pain since I was 12. And I decide that I am finding the right practitioners. I decide that over time, my back pain's actually gonna get less. I decide that yoga heals my back. I decide that I can listen to my back and listen to my body and make appropriate choices instead of deciding that I'm always in pain, that I'm a victim, that nobody gets me, that I'm alone, that I'm limited. That's a huge one for me. My back pain equals limited. So I can say it's true, but the more time I spend arguing for like, no, but it's true, it is so limiting. Like if I tell myself that all day, every day, it's gonna wreck me. And I've been there. But I know that going, there's got to be a way. There's going to be the right person's going to come into my life. My chiropractor is going to recommend someone, and all these pieces come together to actually start to make a huge difference. So start in your thoughts, entertain and play around with. Life is getting easier every day. I may have done these things in the past, but you know what? I'm moving forward. Or abundance is all around me. People are rich all the time. That guy's probably rich. I saw that guy driving a Beamer. You know, people are rich all around me. Abundance is everywhere. There's got to be a way to get that in my bank account. Or there's so many men in this world. There's so many women in this world. I know that the right one is making their way to me. And maybe they haven't come to me yet because it hasn't been the right time. So just remember that there's always more that we can be looking at and deliberately calling in, because if you keep saying like the ones out there, I feel it, they're coming to me, if I'm just in the right place at the right time, when it's my time, they'll come and I'll know them when I see them. If you go through your days thinking that, you're going to feel a hell of a lot better, and you're going to put off a vibe of like, I'm ready for that person when they come in, instead of walking around putting out the vibe of like, hand up and, you know, I'm unlovable. If you put that out, if that's the skin suit you're wearing is I'm unlovable, great people are going to come in front of you, but they're not going to know you when they see you, because all they see is unlovable, because that's what you're putting out. Oh, Haley, I'm so glad. Well, I'm not so glad you feel that, but I'm glad that this is important for you right now. So entertain that. And the more I dive in, the braver I get, the more I go, you know what? I'm kind of just saying F it to everything I've ever learned. And I'm taking upon myself to know that I'm a powerful creator. Everything comes from a decision. Athletes decide they want to go pro. Famous people decide they want to get famous, or they want to, do this audition. Or like Jim Carrey, perfect example. He was living in his car, but knew he was going to be famous. He moved from Canada, whoop whoop, to LA to be famous, and nobody knew who he was. And he was living in his car under the Hollywood sign, and he just knew that I am going to be famous. I decided and wrote that check, maybe you've heard about it, to himself for $1 million, dated, I think it was 3 years in the future, or it was 10 million, dated, someone should tell me if you've probably heard this story. It's talked about with Law of Attraction, but anyways, I think it was 10 million, and he wrote the check dated for 3 years later, and then he got The Mask, and he got paid $3 million for it. Exactly the amount that he put down on, or 10 million, whatever it was, I'm sorry, but exactly the amount he put on the check, he got paid for that movie within months of when the check was dated, because he decided that. If he decided he was just this guy from Canada and probably wasn't going to make it in the United States, in LA, who is he? He's got a stretchy face, but what's that going to do? If he looked at it like that, he'd walk into an audition differently. He probably wouldn't audition for certain things. So I just want you to play with this. Decide. When you go to bed tonight, decide. I decide that I'm going to have a great sleep. And sometimes there's a bit of a faith period, because if you have a bad sleep that night, don't just throw in the towel and go, oh, it didn't work. Because if we say like, I'm going to be rich, if we wake up the next day going, I'm not rich yet, throw it in the towel, that doesn't really do us any good. That's kind of like, you don't really believe, you're just trying it. So just try to edge into belief. How can you get yourself to a place where you believe it? I'm going to have a restful sleep tonight. I'm going to have a restful sleep tonight. I'm going to have a restful sleep tonight. Do that for like 5 days in a row. I bet you'll have restful sleeps, like even more than normal, because you're putting your intention on it. You're putting that decision into it. So thanks for bearing with me. It was I'm a little bit all over there today because I just really wanted to bring this message to you, and I know that you understand it. I know that it was appropriate for the people that are going to see it. And just don't underestimate your power ever. Don't underestimate your power ever. It's like this universe is waiting to give you the things that you want, waiting to fulfill on your wishes. It knows what you want. It knows what lights you up. This we're pushing and pulling around energy. So if you're putting out, I'm not lovable, all men are jerks, or whatever, just as the example I was using earlier, that energy is more powerful than you know. It's pushing away good guys because it's going to protect the good guys from getting into a relationship with someone that thinks that all men are dogs. It's not like the universe is begging to try to change your mind. No, you're the one that decides, and the universe follows you. You're the one that decides. So start deciding that health is going to be easy. I'm going to find the way. It's going to click. It's going to make sense. Money is everywhere. I'm going to make it. I'm going to find my way. If I focus on that, it will happen. Start there before you start with all the actions. Start with the thoughts, because it is the thoughts that creates the emotion that creates the action. So if I'm saying I'm gross or I'm fat or something like that, and then my emotion follows like I'm fat, it's this like, whatever it is, it's embarrassment, it's guilt, it's shame, I'm horrified, all these stories, and then I'm going to binge on food, I'm going to try to restrict, I'm going to cry, I'm going to develop an eating disorder like I did. So it starts in your thought. That manipulates your emotions, which manipulates the way you act. So start with the thoughts. Just start with the thoughts, and you're going to feel crazy for the first millisecond, going like, abundance is everywhere, I will tap into it, and then you're looking at your negative bank account, and that's what I did too. But I just stayed the course. I went, you know what? This way of living sounds so much more powerful and so much more exciting than thinking like, I'm never going to have enough money, or this economy sucks and it's not set up for me and I'm going to be poor. Oh, the tax man. Like, that does not feel good. That's the whole thing. This is this good feeling life. When you feel good, your life changes. Half of it is completely practical and half of it is totally fucking mysterious. And this is the mystery of source, this mystery of energy. Half of it's that, and half of it is just practical. You act different when you feel good. And when you start telling yourself good feeling stories, you start feeling good. I love you so much. Thank you for bearing with me today. I hope that you actually leave and do something with this. Start small, start wherever, start with where you're at, and just, bug just flew straight into my face. He's feeling it. He's like, yeah. Start with where you're at and develop that belief. Thank you, Matt. Yes, and it's so true. And you know that. You know it's mind over matter. I know you. And yeah, it's something that, thank you for expressing that. I totally feel you and I hear you. And now go spread it to someone else. Show someone else that it's mind over matter. And you can change anything that's not serving you. It's big, it's bold, it's beautiful, it feels good, it makes you feel like a frickin' superstar because you realize that you're the one that creates it all. Love you guys so much. Thank you, Haley. Thank you, Matt. I'll see you guys soon. Mwah.